Actually, we're going to review what we've been talking about all week, which is the economic model and the lead generation model. And then I just want to close early so I can share some thoughts with you. For the agents that are on this call, I think there's close to 60 of you now, to the agents that are on this call that are in my market center in Coral Springs that have worked with me for a number of years, one of the things they know is I'm super transparent. I'm going to tell you how I feel. I'm going to tell you what I think. I'm going to be extremely vulnerable. And sometimes that's a good thing. Maybe sometimes it's not. It can be risky though. However, I'm going to share with you because I believe that if I could share my struggles with you, if I could show you that I'm human and I deal with struggles just like you do, then that may help you with a limiting belief that you have. All right, so starting with the economic model, A plus B plus C equals D divided by E equals F times G equals H and I. H and I are seller sides and buyer sides. And that lets us know how many leads we need in order to get the number of listing appointments that we need in order to take the number of listings, both buyer and seller listings we need to hit our gross income goal and our net income goal. So one of the things I'd love for you to do as I'm speaking is just put in the chat, how many listings would you like to take in the last 6 weeks of the year? Then I want you to take that number and double it. And then I want you to take whatever number that is and multiply it by 100. So if your goal is to take 6 listings in the next 6 weeks, then you're going to put 6, 12, and 1,200 in the chat. Those would be your numbers. And I'll tell you why we're going to be doing that later on. All right, now going back to the lead generation model, starting on page 133, once you know how many appointments you must have, you now have to generate the leads necessary to get those appointments. Leads are fuel to your economic engine, and you can never have enough leads. Now, on page 136, Gary shares that there are 3 key areas of your lead generation model: prospect and market, set up a database and feed it, and systematically market to your database. Now, what I want to do is I want to talk about what that looks like on a daily basis. First of all, set up your database. If you haven't entered everyone you know into Command, then your number one job today, your one thing, is to get those names, contact information into Command. You're building a database. So build a database. Now, feed it every day simply means that we are systematically and intentionally adding people to our database. So every day as you're lead generating, your goal is to add more people to that database. The standard that I would tell you would be at least 1. So that a year from now, if you work 250 days, you've added 250 people to your database. Now, prospect and market. Prospecting. Call for sell by owners, call expired listings, circle prospect, door knock. And if I'm circle prospecting, and I'm going to always go back to circle prospecting because I believe this is the greatest opportunity that a lot of us are missing. Maybe I was right the first time. Maybe it's all of us. And in and it's the greatest opportunity because it's a great opportunity for everyone. Even if you don't have a listing, you could circle prospect. Even if you haven't sold one home, you could still circle prospect. You've got your haven't met group, which we discussed a couple of days ago, is 16,000 people in order to net $100,000. So you've picked 2 or 3 or 4 neighborhoods that you're going to focus on. And every day you're going to pick a property that's sold in one of those neighborhoods. Don't do this randomly. Do it intentionally. In other words, don't jump all over the map. Look at those 4 neighborhoods which you picked that are making up your 16,000 haven't mets. Now pick a property that's sold. Doesn't have to be your property. And simply call. Diane, this is John Dietz with Keller Williams Realty. Thank you for taking my call. The reason I'm calling today is a home in your neighborhood recently sold, which is great news. Our challenge now is there are still buyers who are looking for great homes like yours. And I was wondering, who do you know that might be interested in selling their home? Now, what we're looking for is, I was thinking of selling my home. I'm so glad you called. Cool. Now, does it matter if they're thinking of selling their home 30 days from now or a year from now?
No,
Why not?
because you can always follow up forever with them until they're ready.
Yeah, and a year from now, Camille, are you going to need listings?
Yes.
Okay, so when you're lead generating, are you just lead generating for today, or are you lead generating for the future as well?
For the future as well.
100%. Yeah, and if that's your mindset every day, I promise you that a year from now will come really quickly. And you're building a pipeline of future opportunity that is going to return, which is going to have a massive return for you. Only if you have these conversations and only if you have the right mindset. You see, most real estate agents get a lead, and the seller and the lead will say, the person will say, yeah, I'm interested in selling my home, but not for another year. Or I'm looking to buy a home, but it's going to be a year. And the average real estate agent would go, bad lead. That's going in the trash. And there are no bad leads, just real estate agents who don't follow up. And when you have that mindset, then every single conversation is a good conversation. Now, if they say, no, I can't think of anyone, before I let them go, just out of curiosity, if you sold your home, where would you go? What's important to you about moving to blank? How soon would you like to get there? Why is that important to you? Just out of curiosity, what price would it take for you to sell your home today? You know, we're in the hottest real estate market we've had in 15 years. And if you bought your home 10 years ago, it's worth considerably more today than it was 10 years ago. So just out of curiosity, what is the price that would cause you to sell your home today? It's a great question. And don't be surprised when you get an answer. In other words, if they say, well, I guess $500,000 would do it. Cool. I'd love to pop by and take a look at your home so I can find out if I can find a buyer that would pay $500,000 for your home. I mean, after all, what do you have to lose? If I see your home, can I bring you that offer? The answer is going to be yes. If I don't see your home, can I bring you that offer? No. And remember, the goal of every conversation is just to get an appointment. That's it. I'm not making lead generation calls looking for listings and looking for buyers. I'm just looking to get face-to-face with people who might be interested in selling their home, who might be interested in buying a home, because I'm going to nurture relationships for future opportunity. Now, in addition to making circle prospecting calls every day, and let's just say that I'm going to have 20 conversations every day because that's my job. And let's just say that, I don't know, I'm going to pick a number out of the year. And let's say 10 of those conversations are going to be circle prospecting calls. Cool. Now I'm going to call for sell by owners. Hey, Ryan, John Dietz, Keller Williams Realty. I noticed you're selling your home by owner. Just curious. If I had an offer on your home, would you want me to bring you that offer?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, bunny trail for a moment, and not really. It's not, in other words, it's not really a bunny trail. It applies. I'm driving to work yesterday and I get a phone call and I answer the phone. And I'm going to do the best I can to imitate. And I'm not doing this to make fun. I'm doing this to make a point. I get a call from someone and I answer the phone and nothing. If you call me, I'm always going to answer the phone. John Dietz speaking, or good morning, this is John. How can I help you? And I hear nothing. And then I hear hi. I'm like, hello. And this person starts reading a script to me. I'm calling because we noticed that the warranty on your Tahoe is expired. And I was wondering if, and they kept going, monotone as could be. I said, good morning, this is John Dietz speaking. And they said, hi. And I'm thinking, okay. And then they start reading me a script about renewing a warranty on my Tahoe. Now keep in mind, I don't have a Tahoe. And she's talking and reading. And 30 seconds later, not an exaggeration, in her monotone script, I interrupted. I said, well, wait, hold on just a second. And I actually thought maybe this is a computer calling me. It's not a real person, because it just sounded like it was a computer reading a script. And then she stopped and she said, what? I said, oh, okay, good. I wasn't sure if I was talking to a person or if I was talking to a computer. Now that probably offended her, but whatever. And I said, I don't own a Tahoe. She responded with, oh, okay. Do you have a car that you're interested in renewing your warranty? And I told her, I said, that's a great question. And I'm thinking, okay, I've got somebody on the phone who knows what they're doing. I'm always paying attention because I can learn something from every conversation. She says, do you have a car that you're interested in extending the warranty on? I said, no, I don't. She said, okay, bye. I'm like, okay, whoa. This is not going to go anywhere. Now, Ryan, if I was working for that company and I was calling you and you answered the phone, good morning, this is Ryan. How can I help you? I would say, hey, Ryan, it's John Dietz. I work for blank, blank, blank company. And the reason I'm calling you today is because we noticed that the warranty on your car expired. And I was just wondering, are you interested in renewing your warranty? Now, are you more interested in having a conversation with me than if I said, hi, Ryan, hi, this is John Dietz. I'm doing this because I'm reading a script, guys. This is John Dietz and I work for blank, blank, blank company. And I'm calling because we noticed that the warranty on your car recently, okay. Which one of those conversations are you more likely to engage in?
The first one.
Yes. So when you call people, talk to them like you know them, not like you're a salesperson. That's why if Melissa answers the phone, whether she's an expired listing, a for sale by owner, or circle prospecting, I'm going to say, hey, Melissa, this is John Dietz. The reason for I work with Keller Williams Realty, and the reason for my call is I noticed your listing came off the market, and I was just curious, are you still interested in selling your home?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, there you go.
We're human.
Yeah, tonality is huge. We communicate three ways. We communicate using the words that we use, we communicate in tonality, and we communicate in body language. And the least important of the three are the words you're using. I'll prove it. Now, if Melissa said to me, I think your commission's too high, my response would be, really, why is that?
I think I can find an agent who can sell my home for a little less.
Perfect.
Or take a little less commission.
Okay, perfect. So remember, Melissa said, John, I think your commission's too high. My response is, really, why is that? Now, Melissa, tell me again that you think my commission is too high.
I just think your commission's a little too high.
Really, why is that?
Ooh. I think I could find somebody to sell it for cheaper.
Oh yeah, we're done.
Yeah.
Is it a different message?
Yeah.
Yes, 100% it is. All right, so back to a day in lead generation in order to hit your daily contacts, in order to get the number of appointments that you need, in order to get the number of listing appointments that you need, in order to take the number of listings you need, in order to gross the income that you want to gross, in order to net what you want to net. We're going from the economic model to the lead generation model. So I'm having 10 circle prospecting conversations. I'm talking to 5 for sale by owners. I'm going to talk to 5 expired listings. And I'm also going to make sure that I'm reaching out to my database every single day. Remember, you have 3 sources of business: prospecting, marketing, and repeat and referral business. Repeat and referral business is coming from your database. So I'm going to build relationships and make sure that I'm reaching out to everybody in my sphere of influence, everybody, all of my past clients and all of my raving fans and advocates. Hey, Eddie, John Dietz, just checking in, following up as promised. Wanted to see, how are you doing?
Great.
Yeah, awesome. I'm so glad to hear that. And how's your family doing? Everybody good?
Everybody good?
Okay, guys, you know the rest of that script. And I'm going to end with, hey, just out of curiosity, before I let you go, if you were to buy a home or sell a home, would you refer them to me?
Of course.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you, Eddie. I really appreciate you. And who do you know? Who do you know that's looking to sell right now? Okay, you guys know the rest of the conversation. Now, included in my daily lead generation is lead follow-up. So all of those people who are in my pipeline, I'm making sure that I'm staying in touch with them and I'm communicating with them until they buy a home or until they sell a home in order to create emotional proximity. And guys, when I do this every day, when I prospect, when I market, when I reach out to my database every single day, and I have conversations every single day, the end result is what?
Ask for a referral.
The end result is you get a referral, or you get a listing appointment, or you get a buyer who's ready to buy. So for example, I'm just going to pick one person, Anna, who wants to take 3 listings before the year is over. And in order to take 3 listings, she needs to have 6 listing appointments. She needs to go on 6 listing appointments. In order to go on 6 listing appointments, she needs to have 600 conversations.
Yeah, that's going on with all.
Simple, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now, if there's 6 weeks left in the year, there's 30 work days left in the year. Just take 600 divided by 30. And there's the number of conversations you need to have every single day, Anna, in order to get to 3 listings. Yep. So
600 conversations.
600 conversations in 30 days is how many conversations every day?
20.
Wow. Is that a coincidence?
This is great.
Now, I can't believe it's already 8:29. Did we start at 8 o'clock? I think we did.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys, I want to share something with you.
John, how often do you circle back around when you're circle prospecting? How, like, if you got the 4 neighborhoods, do you like call them again like 4 days later?
If I spoke to him or if I haven't spoke to him?
If you spoke to them.
Yeah, it depends. It depends on where that individual is on the journey. If they're
okay, gotcha.
And maybe I'm answering the wrong question. I don't know, but I think that's the answer to your question.
Oh, okay. Because, well, you know, like you took that person, if you spoke to someone, you probably moved them to a different group. So they're not in that circle prospecting list again. But I'm just saying, you just keep like rotating through those 4 neighborhoods every day.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And it could be, by the way, it could be, and remember, you're making you're having 10 conversations a day. So if there's 200 homes, randomly picking a number, guys, if there's 200 homes in each of those neighborhoods, that's 800 people.
Valerie, don't forget, whenever he's calling, he's using a different property approach.
Yes. And I could call Eddie a half a dozen times, every time with a different property in his neighborhood that sold.
Yep.
Now I'm going to be a pest, but I'm going to be a pleasant pest. And am I creating top of mind? Am I winning the positioning battle? Say yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Even if you're a little bit irritated with me, oh my gosh, there's that John Dietz again calling me. Oh my gosh, there's that same old John Dietz. He's still calling me. Now, a year later, it's time to sell their home. Who should I call? John Dietz.
Yep.
You're leaving messages every time, I assume?
Every time, Sean.
Okay, right.
Every time. All right. So I'm going to close. And I'm over time. If anybody needs to go, I completely understand. Understood?
Yes.
Cool. So it was the fall of 2014. I finally pulled the trigger, looking for something to inspire me, a new direction on this journey, believing that God had something more important in mind for my life. If I could choose, what kind of world, what kind of life would I live? Where, how, with whom? What would I do to create value for other people? There it was, the answer I had been looking for. And in that moment, maybe for the first time, I believed that I could actually make a difference. If you can choose became you can choose, and a dream was born. With a vision of building something special, I walked away from the only life I knew. Prior to that, I had lived my adult life on a mission to prove the world wrong. I had chased success in the eyes of the world to become the best at what I did, and the more boxes I checked, the more empty I felt. Was I living the best life God had planned for me, or was it possible that God had a better imagination than I did? Something deep inside of me told me that I was put here for more. God had bigger plans for me, but I had to let go of the ropes that I was hanging onto out of fear. So in May of 2015, I left the only world I knew to become the team leader for a new Keller Williams Market Center in Coral Springs, Florida. I had a vision that lit a fire in my heart. We were going to build a company that would change the world. With a decided heart, I burned the boats and set out on a journey with a destination that is assured. Not only would we change the world, we would change lives. This is my mission, the reason God had placed me here. For the first time in my life, I was living for a purpose that was not about me. I set out to recruit an army that would join me on this quest, promising them that together we would reach the promised land. So far, so good?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you
So
want to
good.
be would you want to be a part of that journey? If I spoke to you and I said, hey, you want to join me on this journey? Would you want to go with me?
Yes.
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 When you dare to chase the impossible, there will be giants in your path. It took 40 years for Moses to lead the nation of Israel to the promised land. The reason it took 40 years was not because God's plan was flawed. It was because his people lacked the capacity to grasp a vision they saw as greater than what they deserved. Is it possible that God has a better imagination than we do? Now, fast forward. It's 5 years later. How are we doing? It's only been 5 years for me, and yet it feels like the promised land is farther out from where I stand today than it was when we set out on this journey. That's a horrible feeling, guys. I still have a decided heart, still believe in a journey with a destination that is assured, still believe this company that I dreamed of in 2014 will become the greatest real estate office in the country. I'm just wondering if, like Moses, it's not my destiny to lead my people to the promised land. For those of you who have read the story, you know that Moses did not go into the promised land with the nation of Israel.
No.
It was not his destiny to take the nation of Israel into the promised land. So like Moses, I'm wondering if it's not my destiny to lead my people to the promised land. For 18 months now, we have been traveling in circles, more backward than forward, with no clear path to go. The promised land is still there. It always has been. I just don't know in what direction we should go. Oz is still the Emerald City. I just can't see the yellow brick road any longer. Now, I'll finish the rest of this tomorrow.
Oh,
And I don't want you to hear me complaining. That's not the message. Please don't hear that. I'm being transparent. I'm taking a real big risk here in being vulnerable, being human. I'm not Superman. I struggle just like you do. I ask myself if this is still my destiny and question whether or not the promised land exists for me, just like you do. All right, give me your ahas.
that was some deep stuff. I'm
You
sorry.
know, John, I think for me, can you hear me?
Yep,
Okay.
yep.
I think for me, for people who really know me, they think that, life is so easy because of our lifestyle or perhaps our situation, which we're very fortunate to be in. I think anybody who's actually on this call is fortunate because they have you and Keller Williams. But just like the lady said in the beginning, I forgot her name, but anyway, everybody has struggles and nobody knows what happens in everybody's family. And I can tell you, I don't care how much money you have, when you have a sick kid or a sick family member, it doesn't matter. So the struggles are real. And so it's almost harder to be in a position of growth and wealth because you are being tormented for thinking, people think you don't have struggles, and it's not true. So that's something everybody should know.
I'll do. All of us do. Yeah. I know one thing. Whenever I'm speaking to a group of people, whether there's one person in the room or 10,000 people in the room, it doesn't matter. Somebody is going through the worst time of their life. That's life. You are either in adversity, headed towards adversity, or coming out of adversity. It's just life. Now, how you handle that is the question. That will determine what happens next. Because adversity is either preparation for greatness or it's an opportunity to give up and settle. And there you are.
John,
Shirley.
forgive me for not being on camera, but I want to say a couple of things. Change the way you look at things and the things you look at change. With Moses, he didn't make it to the promised land because he was disobedient.
Yeah.
And I think of all the value you've imparted to so many of us. And I think you have to know that I surely have to want it. You've been here, you've done it, you leave us step by step as to how to do it, but I have to want it. And I don't think of it as you not leading us. I think you may lead a different group. It may be agents that are drawn away because of the commission or whatever, but you still continue to be transparent, provide the value, you do you. And it just may be a different group that you are leading. So I always say I'm so appreciative of the value you've added.
I appreciate that. Yeah. I'm sorry, Shirley. I didn't mean to cut you off.
That was
Yeah.
it.
Can I
I
add to that?
Sure.
So I want to add to exactly what she was saying. I was thinking the same thing. It goes back to the butterfly effect, and I'm not sure you actually get how many people's lives you touch.
Yeah.
And I think as a great teacher, which you are at heart, you don't always lead the people to where you think they should go or can go, but maybe they're being led to a different place that you don't know of. And it
Could
still
be.
could be through what you say.
You're right. Could be. Yeah, and I'll close with this, guys. Moses was disobedient in his lack of faith. And all of us, including me, are tempted to lose our faith daily.
Can I add something real quick?
Sure.
Yes, from one of the story from Moses is like when God told him to go to the rock to get water, he took his staff and did it twice. It's like the same thing, like Gary Keller's telling us what to do, like you are telling us what to do, but we're not listening. But like if we end up listening, we would have greater result than what do we have right now.
Thank you,
So
Ryan.
Moses did not listen, and he ended up not having what was planned for him, what he deserved.
He didn't listen because he didn't have faith.
Right.
If he had faith, he would have done exactly as he was instructed to do.
We need to get it to them. I wanted it to them.
And
like
your
this, and
caring
this,
comes
and
across
that.
in your tonality. So when you tell us to, when you're telling us to do things to help ourselves, it's just so caring that you can't help but want to do it, you know?
Camille, very sweet of you. I appreciate that. Thank you. And I mean that. I am truly grateful. And I shared this message with you guys for you. I promise you. So thank you for coming to, thank you for providing support for me. Thank you for sharing love with me. And this call every day is about you. It's not about me. Just keep that in mind. So that said, let's get to work. What's work? Work is 20 conversations. It's not 17, it's not 18 conversations, because if we settle for 17 because it's close enough, we're not going to have the 18th conversation, and the 18th conversation could have been $1 million listing that we didn't get because we didn't have the conversation. Every day we're focused on making care calls, not sale calls. Lead with gratitude and bring value to every single conversation. Every day with every conversation, focus on getting an appointment, getting a referral, or adding somebody to your database. So standards, 20 conversation, standard. Adding one person to your database every day, it's a standard. Getting face-to-face with someone who's thinking of selling their home today is a standard. Entering all of those people that you meet with into your pipeline and then following up with them until they list their home or sell their home. Reject and rejection, because no is not a word that lives in your vocabulary. No just means not yet, is a standard. And when we create a habit, it's not discipline. Discipline is a myth. When we create a habit of sticking to these standards, success shows up. Make it a great day, everybody.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much,
John.
My pleasure.
Thank you, John.
Thank you,
Thank you,
John.
John.
Thank you, Sean.
Have an awesome day, John.
Thank you, John. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Always.
Girl, you need a lease.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
My pleasure.